Many have gone before you, some more experienced, some less. The powers of darkness have turned the sacred Silent City into an evil, noxious lair. They profane the holy walls with graffiti and billboards. They fill the streets with smoke and filth. You are brave in heart and spirit. Maybe you will free our holy city and our sacred land of this evil. If you succeed, you will be called a true ninja hero, a ninja Gaiden. If you fail, you will be called a memory. Ninja Gaiden on the Atari Lynx. And man, this game does not hesitate setting up the challenge for you. And it's especially cool when they do so, using the big poster-sized comics that Lynx games are so famous for. Not only is it poster-sized, it's actually a poster. So, the Lynx strikes again, pouncing all over the Game Boy and the Game Gear to give us another hardcore arcade conversion. The coolest thing about Ninja Gaiden, it wasn't just about being swift, using magic and slicing things up. To become the ninja, this dude has to literally walk the main streets and beat the shit out of all the bad dudes. It's been widely rumoured that this is actually Ryu from the NES versions, so I guess this is kind of like how we got into ninjaing, you know? It started all the way back in the arcades. In a city where everyone is totally evil, all that stealth stuff goes right out the window. You'll be literally beating these dudes to death, with your hands most of the time. When you send the bad dudes flying into tables, telephone booths and crates, you'll be able to get power-ups, you know, basic stuff, like more time and more health. If you find a sword, savor it dudes. This thing, it's a godsend. In fact dudes, boss tip number 1. When you get to about the second and the third boss, you should be trying to break up all the set pieces as soon as possible, looking for that one sword. It'll get you out of some really tight situations. Even if you make it up to the last dude, same story man. Stab that guy. It might sound simple, but this game isn't exactly clever. It's all about beating and fighting, and the sword will help you do that. So, because you're going in hand to hand for most of these fights, you gotta be a little bit tactical, you know? But there's not a whole lot of enemies, so there's not a whole lot to remember. But those few enemies can really put up a bit of a fight, you know? There's the general hockey mask wearing thugs, and then there's the ninjas with the swords. And these dudes, they actually have better range than you. You can't actually see it, but I'm pretty sure their arms are like 13% longer than yours. My favourite enemy has to be the Lumber Ninja, and that's actually what he's called. He's a ninja who fights with a massive tree log, and I guess you don't see too much of that out here on the mean streets, but you gotta do what you can to survive, you know? And I have to admit, the tree works pretty well for this dude. They're slow though. The trick here is to cut them diagonally, sit right on top of them, and then using that ninja agility, just beat the crap out of them. So you do a lot of running, but the ninja has a few more tricks up his sleeve. To get out of trouble quickly, you can perform a jump attack, providing you line yourself up just right. Like, you need to be basically jumping past them, then hit attack. I recommend you dudes practice this heaps in the first few levels, because later on, you'll be relying on it. So, there's always a few complaints at a beat 'em up. It's just a beat 'em up. Well, not Ninja Gaiden, not on the Atari Lynx. They go through all this extra effort, just to give us a few wicked climbing segments, and man, it's a real change of pace. You'll be high-fiving yourself hardcore, because it's one hit KO, for you and for them, but it's really nice being able to dish out some punishment for a change. Watching the goons, you know, drop into their death. Talking about death, the bosses will give you a freaking headache. Well, they butter you up with a sumo as the first boss, and just like the Lumber Ninjas, you just stand on them and punch away. But as you fight your way through this corrupt city, the bad dudes, they get badder. But I have to admit, it is pretty rad the way the bosses are introduced. You know, they're hidden under cloaks, they're busting through doors, jumping through posters. I just think it's really cool how they go through all that extra effort just to give us that effect, you know, and those little details, they mean a lot to me. The Lynx, it's a really capable machine. It's awesome to see it put through its paces. And the effort they put into some of the background images, and you know, just seeing how many on-screen bad dudes the Lynx can handle at once. I've had mates literally come up to me and be all like, "Hey Bruiser, have you seen this new Game Boy game?" And I just don't even say anything. I pull out my Lynx, and I load up Ninja Gaiden, and man, they literally go speechless. By the final stage in the castle, you might be feeling pretty limber, but until you realise you need to refight 2 of the bosses to get through to the final boss. So this is where all those little dudes you could get your hands on really come in handy. I mean, you'll need all the extra knockouts you can get. The final boss, man, you literally forget you're in a castle. He comes down, descending on his chair, and his den has this real man feel about it, you know? If there is any way to finish a game about freeing a corrupt city on your quest to become a ninja, defeating this dude in a castle in a city is definitely it. I really hope you weren't expecting a fantastic ending. I mean, all the enjoyment in the game, it's all about the quest, you know, becoming the ninja. Once you've purified and cleansed the whole city, then what? You chill out. And look dudes, he's got the right idea. It's just, even watching a ninja chilling out is pretty boring, especially when you just beat up a whole city to get there.